The question is, what happens if you ignore a speeding ticket? Well, let's deal with fixed penalties first and then come back and look at NIPs in a moment. So a fixed penalty is a conditional offer of a fixed penalty. So the police send the notice out and you have to pay £100, send in the details of your driving licence and they will put 3 points on there, and that's an end to the matter. If you ignore the fixed penalty, then one of two things can happen. The first thing is that the police will do nothing. That's not something that happens very often, but from time to time, the police don't take any further action. It's very, very unusual for that to happen. So normally what happens is, if you don't comply with the fixed penalty, then the police will issue court proceedings. That's normally in the form of a single justice procedure notice. And then you will have the opportunity of either pleading guilty or not guilty. If you plead not guilty, your case goes to trial. If you plead guilty, then the court will sentence you for the speeding matter, and they will use different sentencing guidelines. So they could give you 3 points, or they could give you even more. And quite often the fine is more than £100 plus a victim surcharge and prosecution costs. So that's what happens if you ignore a fixed penalty. Just winding back from that, let's talk about an NIP. So that's a notice of intended prosecution that comes along with a requirement to provide driver details. So that would actually come before the conditional offer of a fixed penalty. If you ignore one of those, then various things can happen. Usually the police will send out a reminder, so you'll have another opportunity to respond, although they don't have to. If you don't respond to the original notice or the reminder, then of course sometimes nothing happens. Just like with the speeding tickets, now and again there are cases that fall between the cracks and don't get and no further action gets taken. But that's once again very, very unusual. So if you haven't responded to the notice, then ultimately the police are likely to prosecute you for failing to provide driver information, which is worth double the points of a fixed penalty. So it's worth 6 penalty points and a fine of up to £1,000. Now, in some areas, at the moment, Manchester and London, they would just prosecute you for the failing to provide driver information. Quite a lot of other police forces will prosecute you for the original speeding and the failing to provide driver information. The police may well accept a guilty plea to one or other of those offences if the case goes to court. But if you ignore the Section 172 notice, the requirement to provide driver details, then just like ignoring the fixed penalty, eventually the most likely outcome is that your case will go to court.